Okay, so now we have the new Consew Premier model P1255RB. And this machine is a walking foot machine, or triple feed. So you have a drop feed, a needle feed, and alternating pressure feed. So let's show you how that works. I'm going to lift the pressure foot up here to hold it out of the way. And we're going to talk about the drop feed. So if you watch the feed dog move, the feed dog comes up in the middle and at the beginning here, and it's going to travel all the way to the back and drop. And it's going to continue on its path if you focus on the feed dog. So for the material, it's going to be fed by the feed dog here, pushing the material from the bottom and feeding it that way. Next thing I want you to focus on is the needle itself. The needle comes down and goes through the needle hole. At that point, the feed dog is coming up, and the needle is traveling with the feed dog. So this is called needle feed. So we've got a drop feed and needle feed. Next thing, we'll drop this down, and now we're going to look at the center foot. We'll focus on the center foot. The center foot will come down. It lifts the rear foot. It's going to travel with the needle and the feed dog, and that's considered alternating pressure feed and a center foot feed. So there's your triple feed, or better known as a walking foot machine. Now, the P1255RB has a federal stitch number 301. It's a lock stitch machine. It's designed for medium to heavy duty sewing. The thread ranges from size 46 to around 207. You can go beyond that with some slight modifications. Needles, it uses a 135x17 or a 16x16 if you're using a leather point, and that ranges anywhere from size 16 to a size 24. Okay, so now we're going to do some threading. I'll lift the pressure foot up. I'm going to push down this little latch that holds the slide plate in place and bring it back. We're going to start with the bobbin. We'll pop this up. You can stick your fingernail there, you can get it up. Go ahead and pull the bobbin out. And there's a slot that's located right here at the end of my finger, and it's kind of grooved back in this manner. We're going to go cross grain to that. So we're going to put our bobbin in, and it's going to come across grain to that. So all we have to do is hold the bobbin, and we want to pull that all the way past this piece here, and that actually gets it into the tension assembly on the bobbin case. As far as your top thread goes, best way to show you is just to start from the beginning. So let's go ahead and take this on out, and we're going to come in one of these holes at the start. I'm going to make an S, kind of S shape it through there. What that does is it helps take some of the memory out of the thread. The thread keeps a memory on the end of it, so coming off the spool, we want to try to relax that a little bit. So I'm going to come in through the first port here, and this is a pre-tension. It acts the same way as what we've got, and we can now go through around this post, and we'll set the pressure foot down so that the tension is set, and we'll get it into the tension, and we'll go down, and we're going to make sure that it comes past this little point right here and makes a clicking sound. We'll click right there. That means it's engaged in the check spring. We're going to come on up through these guides, and either one of the holes can be fine. Just pull it through, and we're going to go through the last one, which is the needle bar thread guide, and we're going to thread from left to right into the needle, and the needle's going to have a little scooped out place here. We'll pull it through. Now on the bobbin, we want to set your tension. There's a small screw that's located right here, and that small screw, we want to have a kind of a medium pull, and if it doesn't have a medium, a little bit maybe heavier than medium, we want to put a little more drag on it with that one adjustment screw right there. Go ahead and preset your bobbin. Get Get that set where you want it. Close the hatch. And then get us a piece of fabric under here. And we lift our presser foot either by hand, which I just did, or by knee, which is down here. And on the top thread, always take time to hold your top thread. Either hold it taut like this when you first start, or you can lift your presser foot up and kind of get the presser foot to hold that top thread on the first stitch or two. So we want to just get sewing here a little bit, and then we've got some excess thread that will cut loose from the bottom. Let's get that excess thread here from the bottom cut loose. So the first thing we want to look at is if you can see, there's a little bit of a knot that's pulling up right here. That means that our top tension is a little bit tight, so we're going to loosen that up. We want that knot to be in the middle so it looks more like this stitch, so you don't see the little knot right there. So let's loosen that up a little bit. Now let's take a look at it. So now you can't really see, well, you see a little bit of that knot. Let's loosen a little more. It's looking pretty good there. I'll shorten the stitch a little bit, get it a little bit down so we can see. So what we want is the stitch to look the same from top to bottom. We're getting close right there. All right, so a lot of times what we'll see in sewing is we'll see a little climbing. We go over a seam, we want to be able to walk right over that seam. So this machine has a good adjustable presser foot so we can walk over seams easily. So even if you're sewing one layer of material, relatively lightweight material, not a problem with that. There's our reverse back and forth on a single layer. Now we're going to get into a little bit heavier sewing. We'll go with 2 layers here. And let's just fold this on over so we can have 4 layers. Now we got 4 layers of sewing. There's 8 layers. There's 8 layers again. There's 16 layers. Now we're kind of stuck over this, so there's a way we can change on the back here. We can loosen this nut, come on around, loosen this nut right here and raise this up. And when we do, it's going to change the step. So let's go ahead and raise this up a little bit. Just going to tap this up a little bit. There we go. And let's retighten this nut. This is your climbing device or your step. Let's try that exercise again. I'm going to go back over those layers and see if we have a little more success. we need to go a little bit higher. So we're just going to go ahead and raise that on up, get us a nice step, tighten it back down. And let's see if we can do this exercise one more time with a little more step to it. Now that we're already getting to the near capacity of sewing, see if she'll come on up and walk over the top of that, back down. There she goes, right over the top of it. Well, let's just make it a little more challenging. We're getting pretty heavy now. Up and over. Up and over. So we're getting to about a ½ inch. It's actually getting to the point where I can't turn it, and it's actually warm to the touch. But let's just try a couple more layers for good riddance. Yep, up on the top, sewing fine. We're going to drop off the bottom. Sews fine, we'll climb again. And then we can go straight back to our regular sewing. Now we need to change our set back. And what I like to do on this is put it in a kind of a middle range. So because we don't normally do such extreme sewing. So now I've tapped that back to the middle range, and the pressing feet are a little more in line. Typical sewing, upholstery. We're going to talk about the premier model P1255RB and its features. So it's got a reverse that's conveniently located. We use a drop-in bobbin with the latch that holds the slide plate in place. The bobbin is the pre-wound bobbin size is a U. It's a large bobbin. You can adjust your stitches here. It has a locking feature that holds it so that it doesn't change at high speed. And we have a maximum stitch length of 2.8 stitches per inch. We have a tension release. This tension release works on the rear. As we lift the presser foot on the rear, it's going to release the tension here. It makes it easy to pull the top thread, especially if you have material in it. You pull your thread. If you let it down, you can't pull it. We can also access that with our knee. We have a knee lift, and it releases the tension. But this machine has a unique feature. It's got a release right here. So you don't have to have your presser foot up to release your tension. You just hold this in, releases your top tension. That's a unique feature. Underneath here, we're going to show you some features about the machine that's unique. We have an oil pump that makes this a semi-automatic machine. It pumps it up to the top. There's another reservoir here that oils the top part of the machine. It's a belt drive machine. It uses a safety clutch over here. Safety clutch. Yeah. The safety clutch re-engages a pin on the bed here that you can push down and engage to redo the safety clutch. And what that does is if you happen to jam the needle, then this shaft and this whole bottom shaft will not move. This will continue to turn. The rest of the machine will continue to turn. And you won't destroy your parts. So that's really good. You have an adjustable valve here that can, for the oiling for your hook, you can turn this to make it have more oil, less oil. So that's a unique feature there. We have a barrel type safety, stitch regulator. The stitch regulator allows you to have the super long stitch with the barrel type. Set this back down. On the back here we have an adjustable for your climbing device, so we can actually do higher step, change the relationship of the presser feet by raising this higher, makes the presser foot step higher, or lowering it down, make them step slower or less step. The workspace is standard 10.5 inch workspace, standard cutout, 2 needle cutout for a single needle, which is interchangeable with our 2 needle version of this machine, which is the P1255RB. And top speed is around 2600. Now that all depends on your thread and your material for your top speed, and maintaining that. It's pretty fast. So that pretty much covers it.